Donald Trump has requested that sanctions be imposed against special counsel Jack Smith in a new motion filed on Monday night in the Mar-a-Lago document case, where Donald Trump has been charged with the willful retention of national defense information. On Friday, special counsel Jack Smith requested that Judge Aileen Cannon impose a gag order on Donald Trump to stop him from making false statements that the FBI and DOJ tried to have Trump assassinated in connection with the search warrant executed on Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump responded on Monday saying that Jack Smith's request is frivolous. It is procedurally improper, Trump argues, and as a result, Trump says Jack Smith and Jack Smith's team should be sanctioned. I believe, however, that Trump's request for sanctions is going to backfire and is ultimately going to screw Donald Trump, because I think Judge Aileen Cannon may in fact grant the relief that Donald Trump is requesting. If not sanctions, I think that Judge Cannon is going to reject special counsel Jack Smith's request for this gag order to be imposed on Donald Trump for Trump placing the lives of law enforcement, DOJ, and FBI officials at risk based on Donald Trump's false and defamatory and malicious statements that they tried to have him assassinated. Ultimately, I believe that will allow Jack Smith to do what he's wanted to for some time, which is to go to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, get Judge Aileen Cannon reversed, and even potentially share with the 11th Circuit finally Judge Cannon's conduct, so that the 11th Circuit could opine whether or not she should even be on this case, whether or not she's even suitable to remain the judge on this case. We'll have to see what Judge Cannon does in connection with her ruling on Trump's request for sanctions and Jack Smith's request that a gag order be put on Donald Trump. But one thing we know is that Judge Cannon has been ruling in favor of Donald Trump over and over again, and she's been very critical of the Department of Justice and FBI. She's been calling them out improperly, and she has been threatening to expose confidential witnesses, identities of FBI agents and FBI statements before. And so I think this could be an opportunity for Jack Smith to say, look what Judge Cannon and Trump have been doing together. 11th Circuit, she is not fit to be the judge on this case. Now, what Trump's been doing and what Judge Aileen Cannon has been allowing him to do is Trump's been taking confidential documents turned over in the criminal case as part of the discovery process, which would otherwise remain confidential under the protective order. Trump takes these documents, and what he does is he attaches them to frivolous motions to dismiss the indictment, and he files a ton of these things. And then what Trump tries to claim is that because he's now filing these motions on the public docket, that the public and the press has a First Amendment right to these records that would otherwise be subject to the protective order and the confidentiality. In doing so, though, what Donald Trump has continued to do, he hasn't given a crap about the First Amendment issues. What Trump's trying to do is to expose identities of confidential informants and to also provide disinformation to his MAGA base, which he knows, this is my opinion at least, and Jack Smith shares this opinion, would lead to threats, including potential death threats against the FBI and DOJ. Trump did this most recently when he filed a motion to dismiss the indictment on due process grounds, arguing that the search warrant and the procedures related thereto were unconstitutional. It's not even the right forum for Trump to make this challenge. If Trump wanted to make this challenge, he could have said it was an unlawful search and seizure and made this filing before the magistrate who signed off on the warrant. Of course, Donald Trump didn't do that. You'll also recall that back in 2022, Donald Trump initiated an entire lawsuit which got assigned to Judge Aileen Cannon, and based on her improper assertion of equitable jurisdiction to try to interfere with the search warrant process in violation of the way search warrant protocols are to take place. The 11th Circuit, remember back in 2022, in that first case, Trump v. USA, before the criminal case was filed, the 11th Circuit jumped in, said there's nothing wrong with this warrant, and Judge Aileen Cannon, you are handling this in a wholly improper fashion. They in a scathing order, and then in a scathing second order, the 11th Circuit reversed Judge Aileen Cannon and took away what she was trying to do back then. But Trump's trying to basically bring those same issues before her, and then he attached various documents relating to the search warrant that was executed at Mar-a-Lago from 2022, some of the same stuff he was arguing and lost on back in 2022 before the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. And what Trump was trying to do was basically selectively show that as part of the search warrant documents, there's a use of lethal force procedure and protocol that existed in connection with the search warrant executed at Mar-a-Lago. However, it is the same use of lethal force protocol that exists with every single search warrant that the FBI and DOJ executes anywhere, whether it's Mar-a-Lago or any location at any time in the U.S. It's just the standard policy of when lethal force could be used. It should also be noted, of course, that when the search warrant was executed at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump wasn't even there, and the DOJ and FBI coordinated with Secret Service to ensure that Donald Trump got the benefit of the doubt to such an extent that the DOJ and FBI even missed some documents that were at Mar-a-Lago that were later discovered in December that we are now learning about in connection with the other documents that were released. So Donald Trump's trying to lie and say that there was this search warrant that calls for the use of lethal force on him and that this is unique and that President Biden put a hit on him. That's entirely false. It's the same use of lethal force protocol that the FBI used when they searched President Biden's house in Delaware and when they search any location, any home. It's just a restatement of the policy. Donald Trump's been continuing to try to spread the lies that there was an assassination attempt also on him. He's also trying to grift off of it and fundraise, like with this email right here that Donald Trump sent to his potential donors. He goes, "They were authorized to shoot me," in the subject. "I nearly escaped death. Biden's DOJ was locked and loaded for deadly force at Mar-a-Lago." Here's another email similar in nature that Trump sent. "I nearly escaped death." Breaking from Trump, Biden's DOJ was authorized to shoot me. It's just been revealed that Biden's DOJ was authorized to use deadly force for their despicable raid at Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump also continued to post about it, saying, "Wow, I just learned that they were going to use deadly force on me." Marjorie Taylor Greene then repeats that as well. Trump's been continuing to lie and say this over and over again when it's just the standard use of lethal force protocol. So Jack Smith on Friday filed for this gag order. Jack Smith said, "Look, you got to stop Donald Trump from saying this, Judge Cannon. You made this public. You shouldn't have. Now you've placed the lives of FBI agents and DOJ personnel and other law enforcement at risk because Donald Trump's using our use of lethal force protocol that exists in all cases to claim he's assassinating, that we were trying to assassinate him, which is 100% false. And that's creating a real threat to our personnel." Now, Donald Trump's motion is saying, we want you to strike and sanction Jack Smith for Jack Smith requesting this gag order. This is what Trump's motion says. It says, "Trump respectfully submits this procedural opposition to the May 24th, 2024 filing by the special counsel's office, which improperly asked the court to impose an unconstitutional gag order on Trump as a condition of his pretrial release based on vague and unsupported assertions about threats to law enforcement personnel whose names have been redacted from public filings and whose identities are already subject to a protective order." Pause. Well, they may be subject to a protective order, but by you putting things out that are subject to this protective order, you're now causing death threats against the FBI and DOJ personnel in general. Trump goes on to say in this motion, "For the reasons set forth below, in light of the office's referring to Jack Smith's office, blatant violation of Local Rule 88.9 and related warnings from the court should strike the motion, make civil contempt findings as to all government attorneys who participate in the decision to file the motion without meaningful conferral, and impose sanctions after holding an evidentiary hearing regarding the purpose and intent behind the office's decision to willfully disregard required procedures. So Trump's attacking special counsel Jack Smith's office for requesting a gag order based on Donald Trump's repeated lies. And what Donald Trump continues to argue as you read throughout this motion is Jack Smith should have met and conferred with us. We should have went back and forth and kind of talked about it first. Judge Cannon, you previously criticized Jack Smith for not going through a meet and confer process with Trump's lawyers before he files things. So because Jack Smith rushed to protect law enforcement and didn't wait until Monday before filing his motion, Judge Cannon, you need to sanction him for violating the local rules on meet and confer when Jack Smith wanted to meet and confer last week, but Trump says that his lawyers were too busy preparing for the summation in the New York criminal case against him. Trump goes on to say, following a string of procedural abuses and misrepresentations over the course of many months, at a May 22nd, 2024 hearing on pending pretrial motions, the court admonished the special counsel's office to, quote, just calm down. I mean, that's what Judge Cannon said to Jack Smith's team. Just calm down. Why are you being so worried right here? I don't know, Judge Cannon. Maybe because we're dealing with nuclear codes? Just calm down. Maybe because we're dealing with war plans that Donald Trump stole. Just calm down. Maybe because these documents in the hands of foreign adversaries, and it's possible that they already are in the hands of foreign adversaries, are resulting in our troops and our foreign assets being killed. But as Judge Cannon said, just chill. Just chill. Why you all trying to get all worked up about these things? Jack Smith's team, just take your time. Take your time. And Jack Smith's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We need to deal with this case now. So Jack Smith is forcing these issues clearly and forcing Judge Cannon's hand right now, because what do you expect her to do? She'll probably respond to Trump's motion and either grant him sanctions or admonish Jack Smith's team, to which I think Jack Smith goes right to the 11th Circuit and says, look what she's doing. She's quite literally colluding with Donald Trump to undermine our national security. And as Donald Trump is lying and claiming that he's subject to an assassination attempt, she's now complicit in what he's doing, and you've got to remove her from the case. Do something about it, 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. This is what Jack Smith's move right here is all about. And Trump requesting these sanctions, requesting that Judge Cannon go all in. Don't you expect her to go all in? She's the worst. She's Judge Cannon. So we expect her to do that. Donald Trump then says in his motion, the misconduct by special counsel's office is even more extraordinary, is more worthy of sanctions in light of the context. The motion is an extraordinary, unprecedented, and unconstitutional censorship application. The motion unjustly targets Trump's campaign speech while he is the leading candidate for the presidency. The motion also treads new, extremely problematic grounds as a requested prior restraint that is different in kind from the unconstitutional gag orders the prosecutors have sought in New York and Washington, D.C. Specifically, the office seeks to condition Trump's liberty on his conformance with the view of Jack Smith and Smith's associates about what constitutes appropriate arguments based on the record in this case, and to require the probation office and the court to mediate disputes against a backdrop of potentially imprisoning a political opponent who is successfully defeating Smith's boss and preferred candidate. One, not only is that false, but two, it is you are a criminal defendant. You should not be lying that you were targeted with an assassination attempt while you are a criminal defendant, placing the lives of FBI and DOJ and law enforcement officials at risk. If you want to say this is political speech to lie, that you're the target of assassination, this just goes to show you how utterly despicable Trump is. And as Trump goes through his arguments, he talks about all the times that Judge Cannon has admonished Jack Smith's team and yelled at them and told them that they need to just chill out and relax. So Jack Smith knows what he's doing here by bringing this motion. I think it was brilliant. It triggered Trump to file this request for sanctions, which includes all of Judge Cannon's unjust, improper, and frankly, if she wasn't a judge, I would say criminal. She can't be charged criminally. She's a judge, and her orders are, she clearly has immunity for her orders. So there's nothing like that that's ever going to happen, ever, just so you know. But her complicity in Donald Trump's obstructive and unlawful behavior, just let her grant Donald Trump's relief, then Jack Smith go to the 11th Circuit and finally deal with her once and for all. So I think Trump seeking these extra sanctions is going to end up screwing him and backfiring when Jack Smith makes all of the arguments that I shared with you, which are incorporated by reference now in these filings. We'll see. We'll see, but I think that's what's going to happen. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your awesome support. We'll keep you updated every step of the way. I know we geeked out a little bit here. We got into some real deep legal concepts, but I think it's important that we don't skim on the details. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million together.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.